Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvaditam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya-dilakshim Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyananda, and welcome to Nithyananda TV, Kailasa's official TV channel. Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam, has taken the enormous effort to revive the Sanatana Hindu Dharma, to revive the Vedic tradition. Through that effort, as a part of that, Swamiji is reviving the various sciences, various cultures, various practices of the Hindu tradition as well. It's not just about reviving ancient sciences, it's also about giving meaning and making people understand with the right cognitions why they need to practice those sciences right now. Long ago, back in Cambodia in December 2014, Swamiji given a beautiful example, seeing one of the old temples there. He had said that our rituals and our culture is like the temple. How the tree growing over the walls of the temple is what initially breaks the structure. But in times of war and in times of natural calamities, it is the tree which is holding the structure together. Swamiji beautifully said that's the way Hindu rituals are. Over time, when the context is lost, the rituals begin to break the structure, break the cognitive ability of why we do what we do, that is lost in course of time when the context is not withheld throughout. But it is the same rituals in times of natural calamities, in times of war, which holds the whole temple together. Swamiji is reviving all the Vedic sciences, all the Vedic arts, everything, literally whatever was preserved in Hinduism, whatever is still preserved in Hinduism, Swamiji is reviving all of it, giving a place for all of this to legitimately exist and be practiced. As a part of that, one of the many things which Swamiji is reviving is the Vakyartha Sadhas. Having the debate, the discussion about the various truths Swamiji explains in the Satsang. Over the past couple of days, as of December 14th, the Pralaya has officially ended, and it is time for new energy, new growth to happen. COVID-19 has brought in various changes in our day-to-day life. It has allowed people to spend more time with themselves instead of always running to save up for retirement, which they will never be able to enjoy. It is more like allowing people to sit and reflect back, to think. Giving everyone a wake-up call, basically. That is what has happened over the last 6 months, where people are made to stop running outside and start looking inside as to what they're doing, why they're doing, what is the context behind many of their actions, why are they making money, why are they working, why are they doing so many of the things which they are doing in their day-to-day life. This Pralaya is not a cleansing just of the outside world, but main cleansing is happening inside ourselves. How our cognitions, how everything, all our thought currents which we had up till now, how everything was very limited and did not expand us completely. Pralaya has done more good to us than ever. It has allowed us to just sit back and look into ourselves and identify the flaws and problems and incompletions that we are having and we are choosing to ignore. As Swamiji beautifully puts it, this Pralaya lasts 6 months from Shivaratri to today. How it has impacted, how many things which you thought very important in your life has become meaningless. How the world was melting down in front of your eyes and how the new life can be built. How the superconscious life can be built. So I like to think of this as how when the birth of a newborn baby is happening, how when all the external factors are being prepared, how the mother keeps the newborn baby inside her womb, growing it, giving it the proper nutrition, taking care of it. Then at the end, at the time of delivery, finally delivering the baby. Pralaya was like that. Well, so many things were happening around outside. So beautifully had kept us all inside his womb, nurturing us, protecting us, preparing us for life after Pralaya. Now that we have delivered, now that we are all newborn babies coming fresh out of this rejuvenation happening, Swamiji wants us to sit and how in every child it is the first 7 years of their life which determines the root patterns, which determines the fundamental cognitions with which they are going to continue and build their life with. This is the same 7 years span in our lives as well, where after the rebirth, after the Dvija has happened for all of us, it is now time to build the right powerful cognitions so that we can have a beautiful blissful life experiencing oneness with Paramashiva and with Swamiji. Vakyartha Sadhas. As part of the revival of Shri Kailasa nation and Hinduism, Swamiji has introduced the Vakyartha Sadhas to all of us, an important aspect unique only to Hinduism. So for imbibing any truth, there are 4 components to it. The first part is listening to the truth when the master delivers them. Hearing the truth, listening to the truth from the master is the first 25% of imbibing the truth. The second 25% happens when you do the contemplation or the manana, internalizing of the truth. You sit inside and allow it to churn. Go on contemplating about it, trying to get a deeper meaning of that understanding which you have heard from the master. The third 25% of imbibing the truth happens when you have the Vakyartha Sadhas, the Vada Prativada, discussing it among your peers, among your teamily, coming to more deeper and deeper understandings about it. Without having the Vakyartha Sadhas and just listening to these truths from the master in the daily satsang is more or less like eating food and letting it sit undigested in your stomach. What's the use of high eating food if it's not going to be digested and the essence is not going to be absorbed by your being? Then you might as well fast. But when the master is giving the when the master is giving the sacred teachings, a part of imbibing those teachings are digestion as well. And so only through the manana and the Vakyartha Sadhas and the fourth principle, the fourth 25%, happens when we live these principles in our life. Only when we complete the cycle of understanding a single concept, only then we have truly imbibed that concept completely. And it has done justice to what the Guru has imparted to us. Now let's just watch a small video of Swamiji himself explaining on the importance of Vakyartha Sadhas.
Listen. manana, Vakyartha Sadhas every day will give you a complete understanding. Not only that, please listen, every time when you keep these spiritual truths in your inner space, analyze them, think about them, contemplate on them, every moment you spend on intra-analyzing these great truths, your incompletions melt down, you are living Advaita. Understand, how much ever you struggle to find the solution externally, you will never find the solution what you expect externally. If you think, I'll finish all the work, I took it on myself or Swamiji gave it to me, and then I'll rest in peace. Never. Even after you leave the body, we have work for you. Understand, if you are expecting the external solution, no. You need to be told you are a fool. Wherever you really need to be told you are a fool, you should be told that is the real good thing for you. If you have some disease, you need to be told you have that disease. Only then you will understand the seriousness and start taking medication. Manana, intra-analyzing is really, really, really important. Because the life gets aligned to living Advaita with Manana. Shankara says beautifully, Shrute Shatagunam Vidyan Mananam Mananat Abhinitidyasanam Lakshagunam Anantam Nirvigalpam. The meaning is Manana is 100 times superior to Shravana. Intra-analyzing is 100 times superior to listening, and living is 100 times superior to intra-analyzing. Nirvigalpa Samadhi, living Advaita, is infinitely superior. Please understand, you need to listen and internalize again and again and again. That is why I am insisting on Vakyartha Sadhas. Even if there are 2-3 sannyasis in your ashram, start the Vakyartha Sadhas. Slowly devotees will start gathering. Everywhere, in every ashram, every center, just like puja is compulsory, Vakyartha Sadhas should become compulsory. More and more learning, more and more internalizing, more and more completion. Understand, other than the spiritual solution, there is no solution. how much ever you try to find any solution for any problem, whether it is personal, professional, organizational, intrapersonal, and interpersonal. Interpersonal is direct fight. Intrapersonal is cold war. You won't fight, but you will be waiting. See, it's like directly when you fight, it becomes like an equal fight. But I have seen many cunning fellows, they won't directly fight. They will wait. At some point, they will get that neutral person position. That time, they will use that position and attack. When somebody else is attacking him and he is fighting with somebody else, he is a neutral person. Now come on, use that and attack. Violence. How much ever you hide, how much ever you keep inside, and how much ever cunningly you plan, finally it is going to stink inside you, not anybody else. Whether it is interpersonal problem, intrapersonal problem, organizational problem, professional problem, or personal problem, the only way anything can be solved is spiritual solution. Vakyartha Sadhas is the best way for a spiritual solution. Discovering spiritual solution for any problem.
Yes, we're back. Swamiji beautifully explained how any problem which you might be facing in the life, or how many external factors you try to change, will not be satisfied, the problem will not get solved. Beautifully, a couple of months ago, Swamiji had explained in the Satsang about the multi-dimensional logic, where to solve your relationship problems, or to solve some big financial problem or some big business problems in your life, you do not need to improve your behavior or change your mental setup. Nothing like that you need to do. You just need to spend a few minutes early in the morning and cleanse your stomach. Do the morning puja every day. These are the few things which by help you by performing them and solve the big problems in your life. So how does this work? To an ordinary man, this doesn't make sense. How can I sit and do my morning puja, sit and clean my stomach in the morning? How does that help in my career matters and my life decisions? Very much does. As Swamiji beautifully said that for every problem, no matter how many external factors you try to change, it will persist in some or the other form. Unless you attend to the root source of the problem, never gets solved. The root source of all our problems is not with any external factor, but it is within ourselves, within cleansing of our body and our inner space. So Swamiji insists to again and again have the Vakyartha Sadhas. It's a beautiful thing in Hinduism where we're not given the answers. We're asked to explore and find them on our own. Without further ado, go ahead and introduce myself and the rest of the panel, the tables and devotees who have come together today of the Vakyartha Sadhas. Shri Nithyananda, Gurukul Balasant, been here for joined the Gurukul back in 2012. I was born and brought up in Texas, US. From as long as I can remember, we used to regularly have the rituals and the pujas we used to do in open advocate for preserving and reviving Hinduism. So growing in that kind of atmosphere, naturally when I met Swamiji and coming to Gurukul was like being pulled by a strong magnet. And for reasons even which I'm not able to identify even today, I had a strong urge and pull to come to Gurukul. And After joining in 2012, I've been here ever since. So that's about me. Along with myself, sitting here with us, we also have Rajananda Maharaj joining us live from Adi Kailasa Birdi. Across the world, we also have devotees joining us here today. We have Ashutosh Anand.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Nithyananda, am I audible? Yes. So, along with myself and Raja Maharaj joining from Adi Kailasa Birdi, we also have Ashutosh Ananda, Jnanatmananda, Ranoshan Edmund, all three of them joining us from Canada. We also have Sanjay Vikaria joining us from London. Would like to thank all of you for joining us here today in the Vakyartha Sadhas. So let's just go ahead and pass the mic around, allow everyone to introduce themselves for the viewers and everyone else who's watching us here today. Yes, we can start with Raja Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. My name is Shri Rajananda, and I'm also a Balasant in the Gurukul. Journey with Swamiji has been tremendously empowering and enriching for my life, and tremendous gratitude to Swamiji and the whole ecosystem for providing a tremendous support to learn Hinduism, to grow in it, and to be able to share it with everyone. The topic today and the ongoing Vakyartha Sadhas has been helping me look deeper and look into the facets where Pralaya has settled inside me. So I appreciate the Vakyartha Sadhas and thank you for having me. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Raja Maharaj. So next, I'm going to go ahead and allow Ashutosh Ananda to tell a little bit about himself for all the viewers. Please go ahead.
Yes, Nithyananda. My name is Shri Nithya Ashutoshananda. I am born Canadian, studied mechanical engineering technology, business and finance. And as I was studying business and finance, I got into seeking to go beyond suffering and started to learn about different masters, different spiritual teachings. Not that I was not exposed to that before, but at that point it became something really important as I was experiencing boredom and lack of vision for my life. And one thing leading to another, I discovered Swamiji, and I decided to attend the Inner Awakening program, and then following that, taking the training to be a Krama Brahmachari. So I have been initiated into Krama Brahmacharya in 2014, and yes, since then I've been experiencing Hinduism, authentic Hinduism, as revived by Swamiji. So surely the biggest blessing in my life, Swamiji is. And so thank you very much for having me. Nithyananda.
Thank you so much for joining us. Next, we have Jnanatmananda, also from Canada. Please go ahead.
Nithyananda Maharaj, thank you. Nithyananda, everyone. My name is Shri Jnanatmananda. This is my initiated spiritual name given by Swamiji. And I also grew up in Canada and followed a path of becoming an elementary school teacher and computer engineering technologist. I worked in the field for a while and realized in the corporate world that there was something missing. And so decided to look for the answers in university and found out that even the answers to the human questions, to the global questions, the existential questions, and how to live it is not known about there. And I started studying different religions, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and found this book called Bhagavad Gita and realized that wherever that came from, those people knew more about me than I probably ever would know. And it was saying to be from 5,000 years ago from a master named Sri Krishna. And he and others in the book were saying that this was from a ancient civilization. So I wanted to find out if there's anyone around on the earth that could teach me about it. And ended up seeing Swamiji on YouTube and went to India in 2009 to Inner Awakening. And after 19 days, that was it. I had the experience of everything. And so since then, I've been volunteering and spending some time in various Adinams, including Toronto and in Adi Kailash outside of Bengaluru. And I was initiated into the path of Brahmachari in 2015. And we're continuing to now learn about what is the Kailasa nation, what is a Hindu nation, why is there not a single Hindu nation for the 2 billion Hindus on this planet, why it may be necessary, for humans, and what is the path that is needed to follow. So thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Nithyananda.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. We also have Ranoshan, also from Canada. Go ahead. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Nithyananda. My name is Ranoshan and I'm from Toronto, Canada. And I got to know Swamiji around 2013. And actually the relationship with Swamiji really just really clicked when the Cambodia IA was starting. So Swamiji, there's one specific line that really clicked with me is Swamiji sharing, this Cambodia IA is the last consciousness flight. And so at that point, something just clicked inside me saying, I know I have to be there. No matter what it is, even if I'm not physically there, I have to be there. And so I did something in my personal life, which was really just sort of like an expression of Tyaga. And so I was like, for Swamiji's sake, I'm completely dropping this from my life. And with this, there was like a lot of like different, normally if I try to drop this, there's different health issues and all these things. But this time I decided, no, for Swamiji, I have to be there. Even if I'm not physically there, I have to be there. And then the next day was the first day of the program. And I watched the Nithyananda Times. And I saw what was happening in the program. I was seeing all the excitement and all the life and happening. And really, that was my first real healing experience just by watching Nithyananda Times. Just by seeing Swamiji through the Nithyananda Times, just really seeing like just the activism and all these things. Really, it physically felt like I was there. And then over the course of the program, I just kept watching the Nithyananda Times daily and really personal experiences. I really did go through the initiations that were happening there. Everything that was happening there, I really did feel happening. Like the initiations, the healing, even the powerful cognitions. And so this was really the first solid experience that I had with Swamiji. And then after that, that's basically the point of no return, because one, there was the healing. Two, I was there without the physical body being there. So even that was like a confirmation for me that, no, this is a real science. This is a real higher science. And so that was it. So this is just one thing I wanted to share about my experience and a little bit about where I'm coming from. Nithyananda.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. Now, we also have Sanjay ji from London. Please go ahead, Aya. Introduce yourself for all of us and for the viewers.
Nithyanandam, everybody. My name is Sanjay and I am from London in the United Kingdom. So I, by profession, I run a software business in the field of data analysis. And outside my profession, I'm married and a father of 2 young boys. I was born actually into a Hindu Swaminarayan family, but unfortunately most of my Hinduism in the early years was just habitual process. And it was quite soon after I had children that I started a sincere seeking to learn more about Hinduism. And thankfully at that key moment, Swamiji happened in my life. And yeah, I've been a devotee since around 2016, and it's now with sheer bliss that I now proudly call myself a practicing Hindu and enjoy the infinite possibilities that naturally come with relationship with Guru. So yeah, as always, just allow me to thank you for this opportunity to participate in Vakyartha Sadhas today. It's always a very enriching and reflective experience, which definitely helps in so many ways to internalize these powerful truths and address any incompletions that may be present. So thank you, Nithyananda.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. So, get into the Vakyartha Sadhas now. We go back to the slides. We can see what we have discussed over the past couple of days through the Vakyartha Sadhas. We've discussed how Swamiji has held all of us, guiding us through each and every step of the Pralaya. How practicing the science of power manifestation is a very powerful way to constantly remember and cognize that you and me are both Paramashiva. We have also discussed how we should strengthen our integrity with the Guru, and how the Pralaya, through various different ways, has tried to distance the gap between us and the Master. Swamiji has asked us to sit and internalize, go through our life before we take any decision, before we go on and go ahead with our life, as if we were like on a 6-month vacation. Swamiji asked us to first sit, spend a little time with ourselves, and iron out all the decisions which we had taken because of Pralaya, in the time of Pralaya. Swamiji told that Pralaya was so powerful that it is not just the external factors, the man-made calamities, the natural calamities which had happened to the world, but it was also the decisions which we took during these times. Those decisions tainted with the Pralaya has gone inside and is sitting there as Pralaya inside all of us. The only way Pralaya for us is truly over is when we sit with ourselves and iron out all these details. We recognize and discarding the thoughts, the actions, the decisions which we have taken during the time of Pralaya, announcing them and being free of them. Only when that happens, the real transformation has happened. Only then Pralaya has truly left us. In today's Vakyartha Sadhas, the discussion is going to be about how we settle in laziness and boredom during the Pralaya, rather than actively enriching ourselves and others with the cosmic principles. How can we reduce the effort of the Pralaya in our lives? So these are the questions which have been brought to us today. If you just sit and go back, rewind 6 months to the life before Pralaya. I'm sure all of us had some or the other deadline, always running for some or the other thing. At some point in that, while running, we forget the purpose why we are running in the first place. And it is in those moments when the context is lost that other problems, other factors start coming up. Laziness, tiredness, irritation, other incompletions, all this comes up when we forget why we have started running in the first place. It's the same confusion Arjuna had, the Mahabharata war, just before the battle started. If he lost the context why he was waging the battle, why he was waging the war in the first place. Thankfully, because Krishna was there, Bhagavan Shri Krishna was there by his side and helped him, enriched him, gave him the powerful cognitions, showed him the Vishwarupa, and explained to him how this Mahabharata war is more than just you and the Kauravas, how it is important to the whole humanity, the whole cosmos itself. When we get this understanding in our life, that we are running not just for ourselves, but for a much more greater happening, giving into the trust of Paramashiva, of the cosmos, of the higher existence, only that is when we will truly be living without incompletions. As Raja Maharaj had quoted from the Bhagavad Gita yesterday, Karmanye vadikaraste maaphleshu kadachana ma karma palehe kurbuhu mate sangosto karmani. You have right only for the action, but not to the fruits and results of the action. Surrendering and giving everything, putting everything on Sri Krishna, that is when we will attain liberation and completion. So, coming back to the first question, where is that we settled in laziness and boredom during the pralaya rather than actively enriching ourselves and others with the cosmic principles? I'm going to go ahead and pass over the mic to Raja Maharaj and let him share his cognitions, thought currents about this.
Thank you, Maharaj. So, yeah, my experience when it comes to boredom and laziness actually is rooted in fear. I'm either afraid that I will have to engage in something or be responsible for something, and that the whole thought current of me doing something that I'm not prepared for, that I'm not ready for. So then or I'm frustrated about in somewhere, or I hold some anger towards whatever that is. Me not doing that and deciding to put it off and procrastinate because I will not be able to handle myself. I will not be able to engage myself. I don't believe that I can. This fear that I will not be able to raise myself in those moments is what puts me in laziness. And then this fear that anyway everything is repeating, it's the same pattern, it's me again. It's the same recurring things. The same way I am dealing with it, it's the same patterns that I am facing, it's the same reactions I am getting. So this attitude that it's going to be the same way going forward is what creates boredom, and it's rooted in fear again, because I am afraid that if I change anything, if I try anything new, it'll just end up in the same. So this way I feel laziness and boredom is created in me because it's rooted in fear itself. Afraid of engaging in anything because of the responsibility that'll come from it, or the change that it'll demand from me. And this I've seen as a thing that has the pralay temporarily shown that it's not there. But me looking back now, there are places where it has been there, where boredom and laziness has settled in to the point where I feel I'm not able to handle what I need to do going forward. So right now, what the powerful cognition that I wanted to hold, dealing and understanding, yeah, there are some things that have not transformed fully from this pralay, and there are some things that are there still that I need to handle. So the great thing is that we have Swamiji, and he is giving us a clear guidance, and nicely has actually saved us from doing many blunders, because he has pointed out that there are things still there. Don't make many major decisions. Look into yourself and find out those things, iron out those things, and And that's the beautiful guidance that he has given us. And taking this guidance, what I have done and what I have clicked with is that he's actually there, he's helping, and he's really taking care of all of us throughout this whole thing. So why am I now to worry that there is still anything that I need, that there are still things that I need to, that I have not handled well, that there is boredom and that there is tiredness and there is fear. Why do I have to worry about that? Swamiji is there, telling hold on, he's telling he'll take care. So I feel this way I can retain the peace, retain the calmness, and go through the storm silently, and wait till it all it goes out, and listen to the Guru as he guides us through this end times of the Paralay. And I feel this is a good way to go about it. Yes, there are many instructions. But yes, he is telling us, and on the day that it ended, he told it is time to engage in activity, become active in many ways. But then he also said, do not make any major decisions right now about your life, because the Pralay is still settled in. So iron them out. So in the same way, I am looking in to iron out these things so that I will be able to become more active in a transformed way going forward, rather than becoming active as a response or a reaction that I need to remove the laziness and boredom. Rather, space of possibility, the space of tremendous transformation is where Swamiji was trying to lead us. So only if we have completely destroyed or removed, cognize that it is not the way. And one more thing that I actually have realized, that what this laziness and tiredness really end up, as Swamiji was beautifully describing in the Vakyartha Sadhas small intro that we have shown, how at the end of the day, all the frustrations and all the manana and all the inner contemplation that you do about everything, at the end of the day, the smell and the stink will only be inside. So it is actually inside only where the issue came from, originated, and it'll only be inside only where the damage will be there. So not be on the path of sabotage or self-sabotage. Let us align with Swamiji. Be grateful that he is guiding us. Sit silently, do the more manana, go through these times of life. So this is what I want to share.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. So I'm going to go ahead and let Jnanatmananda to share his cognitions and thought currents about this. Why is it that we settle in laziness and boredom during the pralaya, rather than actively enriching ourselves and others with the cosmic principles? Please go ahead.
Nithyananda, thank you. Yeah, it's actually, a lot of these things are very similar, like Rajananda Maharaj is sharing. So there's just a reluctance to take responsibility, or like a saying, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not clear about how to do things. Also things like the food habit. So dumping the food inside brings that tiredness. Actually, a lack of clarity is one of the things. One of the big things is ultimately not recognizing what the relationship with Guru is supposed to be. Coming from a westernized perspective, there's not really a giant Hindu community in Canada anyway, percentage-wise also, and presence. And so even the concept of a guru and the concept of master, the concept of enlightenment and how it works and what it is, it's like kind of almost not at all known at all. So even personally, it's taken a long time actually to even understand what is guru and how to like, for lack of a better term, how to use guru as a tool, in your life, how to benefit from guru. Like Swamiji said, if you treat me like a boss, then I'll only be a boss for you, and you'll only get instructions that you may not want to follow. But I'm here to cause your ultimate reality and enlightenment. So you should approach me in that way. So thing is, when we don't, frankly, as a spiritual being in human form, when you don't recognize the path of the solution, then you're going to have tiredness and boredom. And so it's just it's really, if you just look what's happening, we have a bunch of spiritual beings in human form, and these beings were creating a lot of unnecessary problems. So it's really clear that the humanity needs solutions, and from what we can tell, in the last 200 years of destruction of the environment and wars, poverty, youth suicide, diabetes, depression, all these kind of things, the massive culling of animals in the animal food industry. If we look at, well, what direction is this going? It's pretty clear that there's not much more time we can go before this accelerated destruction is unrecoverable. So we pretty much, it's pretty clear just looking at this state of, there's 200 countries, 200 nations, 8 billion people, and where is it headed? It's 4 billion people live on less than $5.50 per day. Yet we have enough food to feed and kill 100 billion animals and trillions of marine life every year. So we're feeding more than 100 times how much food we need to feed this starving humanity to animals that we're killing and still don't have enough food. So anyway, if we just look at the basic status of life on Earth and what humans are enacting, a massive destruction, massive extinction of life beings, life on the planet, whereas the human population used to make up a small percentage of the biomass, meaning living animals. Now it's, along with animals raised for food, is far outweighing the natural life on the planet. So it's pretty clear that the path forward for humans has been a lot of destruction in the recent past, and industrialization to increase that destruction. The status of youth with drug abuse and suicide, along with diabetes and other things like this, is alarming. And the outcry of discussion that's gone on this year with coronavirus, how many people speaking around the clock about coronavirus. One thing coronavirus has showed very clearly is it's brought everyone to speak about it. And frankly, I've spent many hours keeping in touch with what the discussion has been about, and I actually haven't seen a single person who suggested that they know or have a proven solution. So this includes a pretty wide awareness of various media outlets and various genres of news reporting. I frankly and honestly haven't seen a single person even once claim that they have a proven solution for humanity. People are essentially not even thinking on that level of a solution. There's a lot of arguments, a lot of attacks, a lot of saying this is wrong, that's wrong, I'm outraged about this. Here's a certain path, we can put some money in that direction or vote on this thing, but or move politics in this direction. But not a single person has claimed that they have a proven solution for the problems facing humanity. So the one thing that coronavirus in 2020 has showed is that pretty clear that humanity doesn't have a solution, and there's certainly not a proven solution, and certainly not a proven solution that people are ready to galvanize around and support and live. So it's pretty bleak in that sense. So that's all just to say that actually what is Guru and how to benefit from Guru, and what is the life science of of me as a spiritual being, realizing my spiritual, the truth and purpose of my spiritual existence, that need for life as a scientific reproducible process is almost not available whatsoever. So the possibility of why life happens on earth and why we come here and how to ensure that we fulfill our purpose is almost not available at all. And to the small percentage that it is, it's certainly not known about. And this year has shown that it's never talked about. So that's what's showing me that, yes, the laziness and boredom comes in when I don't recognize how to benefit from an enlightened master. And so that has been a big click for me, is nurturing that relationship, learning more about it, spending more time with it, doing more writing about it, more manana, doing my puja, my yoga, doing more listening, sharing these things more often with more people. That seems to me a way to minimize the impact of this pralaya.
So thank you so much, Nia, sharing your perspective, your views about this. Go ahead and Ranoshan, you can share what are your opinions, your cognition, thought currents. Please go ahead.
Anam. Actually, after listening to Rajananda's cognition, I started to actually expand my own cognition of this thing of where the laziness and boredom started to settle during the pralaya. And really I'm seeing is one pattern that I especially caught today during this pralaya is this pattern of pretending to sleep. And even this pretending to sleep being rooted in fear. Swamiji, or Ranoshan remembers Swamiji sharing this thing where you can wake somebody up who's sleeping. No problem. You just simply nudge them and they'll wake up. But you can never wake somebody who's pretending to sleep. They're pretending for some reason or another, but they're pretending to sleep. And even this, I'm saying this as an example where there's a literal example of pretending to sleep, yes, but there's also the figurative example where you know there's some pattern sitting in you. You know there's some laziness. You know there's some boredom. You know you're not doing something for some reason, but then you pretend you don't see it. Sort of like actually the inauthenticity. And even the authenticity is rooted in this fear, actually, as you were sharing, Rajananda, is this fear. And Ranoshan's really cognizing is this fear of action, this fear of activism, which is actually contradictory to what Ranoshan feels as what he enjoys, because Ranoshan feels that, oh, when I'm active, I feel very alive, moving, energetic, and I feel very excited about life. But now Ranoshan's seeing, actually, no, there's a subtle fear where Ranoshan feels if too much activism is being asked, then it goes into a withdrawal saying, no, I'm not here. No, I'm still sleeping. No, I'm not. Basically, this whole thing of the inauthenticity, rooted in this fear of being active and continuously being active. And really, another click that he clicked with me that Rajananda was sharing is this space where even just to come out of this is actually just the love of Guru. See, for somebody who's pretending to sleep, what do you need to do? One way they'll wake up is the whole house is on fire. Seeing the house on fire, they'll see, okay, I have to get up now. Seeing the emergency situation, they'll realize, okay, I can't keep pretending. I have to get up. This is one. Another way to wake up is somebody you love coming to wake you up. There's actually one line I want to share from the Avatara Leela. Page 33, Swamiji sharing, remember this is the last half of the excerpt. Remember me wherever you are, I will be there. I will be there. Just live this truth. Just live this truth. I take all the responsibility. I am taking care of all the responsibility. Just live this truth. Everything else is taken. Just live this dharma. And I'm really seeing this is our only dharma. Just remembering Swamiji. Trusting Swamiji. This is our dharma. Following the words of Guru. Trusting Swamiji. Just space is really giving me a strong click, especially as you were sharing. I heard some time back somebody was sharing this, and I wanted to get the exact reference. And really, it is such a powerful thing, just having that simple trust on Guru, the simple love for Guru. And really, I'm seeing this really is the best way to actually come out of this, to really come out of the space of the laziness, tiredness, boredom, to come out of the space of pretending to sleep, coming out of the space of fear. See, when you're in love with somebody, there's actually, even the word fear is redundant because there's no thing of fear. There's just the engagement with life. You're completely engaged with life, and there's like, it's a kind of powerlessness that has no possibility of powerlessness. Even the word powerfulness is maybe I don't say the exact word, but it's that kind of feeling where even the possibility of powerlessness is not there. It's just completely living. And so this is just the main click that's happening in this thing is just really where the laziness and boredom settled in the system is space, really, and I'm also in day by day, where these spaces are where I'm pretending to sleep. And then seeing, no, let me stop pretending to sleep because I know Swamiji is taking care. I'm going to remember Swamiji when these are happening. Remember Swamiji taking the responsibility, and so no matter what happens to me, I know I'm taking care. There's always this safety net. Not only this, but this is our dharma as Swamiji's disciples, just to remember Swamiji. Even when doing the power manifestation, always the basis is remembering Swamiji. After remembering Swamiji, then whatever power you want manifests, but the first thing, connecting with Swamiji, remembering Swamiji. Remembering Swamiji's form. Remembering Swamiji, the third eye, and Ananda Gandha. Just remembering Swamiji, remembrance of Guru. Maranat Mukti, remembrance liberates. It's just actually a strong click that I just wanted to share after this sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ranoshan. We're going to go ahead and share his cognitions and thought currents. Please go ahead. Yeah. Hello, am I audible? Yes. So thank you so much, Ranoshan, for your sharing. We can go ahead and have JG share his thought currents and cognitions. Please go ahead, yeah.
Thank you. So I'd just like to step back a little bit before I this point, so just to cover as well. So from the start of the pralaya, what's become very clear to me, as you've covered in this introduction actually, is how the practicing Kailasans, how practicing Hindus have experienced pralaya very differently. And that's not just an experience of not being negative. It's actually an experience of sheer positivity and radiant positivity. So it's not only that we sidestepped negativity, it's that we took a completely different path altogether. And when we know this, we have to share this knowledge. It has to be shared. The science has to be shared. So where I'm relating this to is the idea of laziness. Because the definition of laziness here is if we have this, if we have been given this science, if we have been given this knowledge, if we have experienced the benefits of this knowledge through pralaya, if we are then not able to share it in an effective way with Hindus and non-Hindus, if we're not able to share it with the world, then that is a type of laziness. As if we have something and we're not really that, we're not feeling the urge to share that information. That's laziness. That here is the key laziness that has come through this pralaya. And that's then made me really think about this more, because if I just talk quickly about what's happening in the UK, so there was this feeling almost by the general human population that we're nearing the conclusion of this of the COVID pandemic and what comes with it. And actually, there was a news event today in the UK where it's just become one level worse, and there's utter breakdown of there's almost like, oh my God, we give up. There was such a mentality of just waiting for an external solution, whatever that might be, so they can, there was this way to resume normal life or just get some sense of normality, what they realize as normality. And it's not coming, because there are only spiritual solutions, as we know. Even amongst Hindu groups here in the UK, I can't see that there was a huge difference. Everyone was in the same boat of looking for this external solution. So the laziness of not sharing the science that we've been given is a big thing here. And then, sorry, I'm just trying to look for the topic. And then that links very clearly then to how do we reduce the effect of pralaya on our lives. It's about sharing this science, sharing with other Hindus, because I say Hindus particularly because they probably have a lot of that material and the mindset to capture this, but it's about uniting and reminding them of what's within Hinduism, because if it's not practiced, it can get easily forgotten. And then in times of panic and kind of when things look down, you don't turn to Hinduism as a source of strength. And that's a big shame, because actually Hinduism is the ultimate source of strength. It's the only source of strength, as has been shared before. We aren't seeing other solutions. We're seeing apparent solutions. We're seeing superficial solutions, kind of just wallpapering over the cracks. But we've also been told that this could happen again. So what are we doing? What are we doing when we just wallpaper over the cracks, knowing that those cracks are going to emerge? We don't even know those cracks might re-emerge bigger. It could be even worse next time. So we need to get to the root of what's happening. And we've got the Kailasians, we've got this knowledge. So this laziness has to be addressed, and Swamiji has now given us this restart. And this is a big cognition happening here. That it's time now to unite behind this message, invite all Hindus, invite the world to this, and explain to them, show them by our own lives, our own living, that this is not just a pipe dream. This isn't a vaccine that may or may not work. This works. We have evidence in lives. We have evidence of practicing Hindus who have experienced this pralaya very differently. That's no fluke. That's not luck. That's science, because it can be replicated. That's science. It can be proven. And this has to be shared. So yeah, that laziness pattern has to be overcome.
So now, all turn our attention. Ashtoshananda, go ahead and share your thoughts and share your powerful cognition, your thought current. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes, Nithyananda. For Ashtosha, the laziness and boredom, what he realized after listening to what Swamiji was sharing, is that they're rooted in the lack of vision for the future. If your vision is very small about yourself and about what you're going to use your life, time, and energy for, you will not be able to move yourself to be more and more active. And the click which happened was in a satsang Swamiji was sharing, even if you feel that you have no future, be life positive. Be life positive. Don't be life negative. So laziness and boredom is obviously life negativity. So that should not be the response, no matter what state you are in, even if you feel you have no future, even if you have no vision for yourself, like you have no clue what you're doing. Even at that moment, just decide to be life positive. So the click from here was during the pralaya. One thing which was obvious, which was brought to awareness, was this escapist behavior. When that boredom comes, or that tiredness comes, how we escape to try to handle the moment, that moment, whether it is through snacks or food, whether it is through sleeping, or one of the main one which became apparent for Ashutosha was the entertainment. Just something simple, just going on YouTube and just watching a video which is not aligned to what you're doing with your life, but you're just watching it because you want to rest or to relax or to kind of whatever reason you come up with. So when Swamiji gave the mucus-free diet, Ashtosha felt that Swamiji was giving it for him. So naturally, Ashtosha was very inspired and started it. And the first thing that he saw is that when that laziness or boredom was kicking in, his decision to go for food. But then once you decide to be integrated to that mucus-free diet, then you stop yourself and say, no, we're not going to have food. So then you fall into that moment where you have to decide, do I become life negative or do I become life positive? Do I make life negative decision or do I make life positive decision? And if at that moment you remember, make a life positive decision, everything changes. And you break the laziness and patterns. Swamiji says, enrich yourself or enrich others. In this situation, it would start by enriching yourself, deciding to be life positive. So instead of watching a 2 minutes video, random video on YouTube, sit and do unclutching for 2 minutes, and then go back to whatever you were doing. But it's about just making life positive decisions, and so no matter what, whether you have the vision and you know where you're going, and because of that you're very inspired and active, that's amazing. Even if you don't have any vision and you don't know where you're going, just decide to be life positive. So that was one of the most powerful cognition, especially near the end of this pralaya, because Swamiji revealed it only recently. So really not allowing the boredom or the tiredness to make you choose life negativity. Whatever decision you make sure that this decision is life positive. And then from there, the pattern will break and new life will open up. So yes, so that was a big happening that happened through this pralaya.
Are you? Nithyananda, are you able to hear me now? Okay. Yes. Sorry for this. I actually appreciate it. Astosh was saying now about appreciation. Buddhism. I realized I do the same thing, but in the same way. Rather than focusing on the work that I'm supposed to do, I'll go on doing the small, tiny jobs. Some tiny jobs that are that I think will give me peace. Plan kind of things that will give me that I think will give me a temporary peace. It's actually an escapism. At the end of the day, that inner struggle is there inside. As Notion put it, fear of the action. So that's still there. You replace the actual action that you're supposed to do with another. As a reaction to that, not doing that action, you are doing other things. And you're saying, in the name of productivity, I am doing something. It's important. And that important. Keeping place clean is important. So in the name of that, you are not at an actual action that life is demanding from you. So that got in a good open mind. And I also wanted to add that there's maybe one way we can lead to the next topic, Vakyartha Sadhas. Vakyartha Sadhas for tomorrow. It's about having that bigger vision. And how, when having that vision, everything else becomes redundant. All problems, lazy, boredom. That vision is presented, how that vision, or when that vision is envisioned and you have it in your heart, and how the Guru gives it to you, or you aspire to have the vision of Shri Kailasa that Swamiji has, and to actually think through that how we will be actually living in a place like that, and living in a together like that, and living in a community and having a completely new life. That kind of a vision. Because what is rejuvenating other than to think that my life is going to be completely new and a completely different going forward? That itself makes a rejuvenating experience for us when we think it's going to be completely different, it's going to be completely sacred. That makes us aspire for it, and that makes us want to. It makes everything else redundant, and makes that only the important thing, and we work towards it and move earth and river to make it happen. So we'll think about this. All of us can have a thought about how we can build going forward, and how we can have envision Sri Kailasa and envision our future in it, and how we can help others also see. As Sanjay ji told, people are really hopeless around the world, and people are waiting for an external solution, as he said. How do you help people see that the solution is inside, and from that same context, create a world externally that can really support an internal look, and create a world that we can really help each other with, rather than having a world where everybody is feeling devastated and hopeless. How do we help envision that world for ourselves and help others also see that? So I just wanted to add this point, and thank you all for a good Vakyartha Sadhas today. It was very enriching. Thank you.
So, like always, Raja Maharaj sets the stage for tomorrow's Vakyartha Sadhas. So, this is a food of thought, food for thought. How can we prepare ourselves, plan for our future in Kailasa, start planning to live life after Pralaya? Sometimes Swamiji says that real completion happens when you are deciding and when you are moving forward. Until you take those few steps forward, the past will actually never completely leave you. When you complete for something, when you want to drop a certain thought pattern or drop a certain thought current, the real completion happens when you start executing the powerfulness and the further steps. For example, when you want to break some food patterns in your life, then taking the jump for Nirahara, taking the jump for living a lifestyle without food, only when you perform that, only then the food patterns will be broken in you. Same way, when we want to come out of our old life thought currents and life cognitions and have new powerful cognitions and a new way of existing in life, planning and living in that way will only complete the old. Very beautiful topic, and as time is short, hold it for tomorrow. One of the best ways in which we can complete our laziness and boredom, reducing the impact of pralaya on our life as of this moment, apart from seeing ourselves, seeing everyone else as Paramashiva, is to let the Master do it himself for all of us. Coming to the Paramashivam program on January, allowing the Master to work on you, allowing him to do the spiritual process to completely cleanse your system of all the pralaya, as Jnanatma Ayya had beautifully shared earlier. When he read Bhagavad Gita, he was sure that there was no one else in the world who knew. He was sure that the Bhagavad Gita knew much more about him than he knew about himself. Swamiji knows much more about us than we will ever know. And so allowing him to do the complete detoxification for all of us is the only way where we can be completely complete about this. Let's watch a small video about Paramashivoham, which is coming up on January 7th. Please stay tuned.
The time is ripe. The world is ready. You are going to experience literally Paramashiva. Most powerful, intangible but definitive, intense processor. This is the most powerful spiritual nuclear explosion, the strong force of Kailasa landing on planet Earth directly. One thing I can be sure, you will not exist end of the program. I can guarantee that. Only Paramashiva will be there.
Nithyananda, am I audible now? Yes. So, before we end today's Vakyartha Sadhas, I would like to sincerely thank all our panelists for taking time off. This is being a weekend. Shows your commitment and shows your sincere hard work. You all contribute towards Shri Kailasa, towards helping Swamiji build the Kailasa nation. It is only when we show the sacrifice like this, other people who will see, be inspired, and will also come to be a part of this great happening. So I'd like to sincerely thank all of you for taking the time off and joining us here today. So with this, prepare ourselves for the Satsang. Please sit straight. Your head, neck and spine in a straight line. Bring your awareness into your Anandagandha. Visualize Swami sitting there in your Anandagandha as Paramashiva with 25 heads, 50 hands. Now, allowing the Mahavakya to vibrate throughout your entire body. Start chanting Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Paramashivoham.
Connecting with the divine, with your eyes open, is darshan. Come, let us all now move from meditation to darshan. Slowly, very slowly, please open your eyes.
சுண்ணாம்பு போல சுருச்ச மோகத்துக்கு இந்த சூரிய நர்வமோசம் எங்கெங்கே வச்சிச்சோ வெத்தல போல விரிச்ச மோகத்துக்கு எங்க சந்திர நர்வமோசம் எங்கே